The average Formula One team spends between $150 and $200 million per season. Some teams have never won a race, a few have barely scored a single point, and yet, every team keeps spending, every year, hundreds of millions of dollars to finish last. This seems insane. Until you understand the real economics of Formula One, and realize that winning the race is actually the least important part of the business model. Formula One introduced a cost cap of roughly $135 million per season for car development, but that doesn't include driver salaries, top executive compensation, marketing, or engine development. The actual spending for a top team like Red Bull or Mercedes easily exceeds $300 to $400 million per year. Even the smallest teams, those finishing 9th or 10th in the Constructors' Championship, spend over $150 million. That's the minimum just to show up on the grid. So why would anyone spend $150 million to finish last? Because the return on investment has nothing to do with the finishing position. Formula One distributes roughly $1.2 billion in prize money to teams each year. This money comes from the sport's commercial revenue, TV deals, race hosting fees, and sponsorship. Every team that competes in every race receives a share, regardless of performance. The lowest-placed team still receives roughly $40 to $50 million just for showing up and completing the season. Finishing higher earns more, but even last place receives a substantial check. This baseline payment alone covers a meaningful percentage of a small team's budget. This is where the real money is. Formula One reaches over 700 million unique viewers annually across 200 countries. For a sponsor, putting their logo on an F1 car means global exposure on a scale that very few other platforms can match. A title sponsorship can be worth $30 to $50 million per year, even for a midfield team. Secondary sponsorships, technical partnerships, and hospitality deals add tens of millions more. The key insight is that sponsors aren't necessarily paying for victories. They're paying for eyeballs. A car that finishes 8th still appears in every TV broadcast, every highlight reel, and every social media post from the race weekend. For certain industries, energy drinks, tech companies, luxury watchmakers, cryptocurrency exchanges, the association with the speed, engineering, and prestige of F1 is worth the investment regardless of the team's finishing position. F1 is the most advanced engineering competition on Earth. The aerodynamics, materials science, battery technology, and data analytics developed for F1 cars have applications far beyond racing. McLaren's Applied Technologies division generates hundreds of millions in revenue by licensing F1-developed innovations to healthcare, aerospace, and automotive industries. Williams Advanced Engineering has spun off into a standalone technology business. Even smaller teams develop intellectual property through their racing programs that can be commercialized. The R&D isn't just a cost, it's an investment in a technology portfolio with real commercial value. Here's the biggest one. The value of an F1 team itself has exploded. When a consortium led by Michael Andretti bid to enter Formula One in 2023, they reportedly offered over $600 million just for the right to create a new team. They were initially rejected. Alpine, currently a midfield team, was recently valued at over $900 million. Top teams like Ferrari and Mercedes are valued in the billions. This means that even if a team loses money operationally every season, the ownership stake appreciates in value year after year. The teams are loss-making businesses sitting on assets that keep getting more expensive. Wealthy investors aren't buying F1 teams to win races. They're buying them as appreciating assets in a sport with a fixed number of entries and a global audience that's growing rapidly, especially in the US market. The growth of F1's audience, particularly in the United States, is largely credited to the Netflix series Drive to Survive, which premiered in 2019. The show turned the behind-the-scenes drama of F1 into compelling entertainment, attracting millions of viewers who had never watched a race. US viewership of F1 roughly tripled between 2018 and 2024. This audience growth directly increases the value of everything in the ecosystem: TV rights, sponsorship deals, hosting fees, and team valuations. The sport is in a growth cycle that makes even last-place teams more valuable than they were 5 years ago. Formula One's total revenue exceeds $3 billion annually. Liberty Media, which owns the commercial rights, has seen its stock price multiply since acquiring the sport in 2017. The average team valuation has roughly doubled in the past 4 years. Sponsorship spend across the paddock exceeds $2 billion per season, and new races in Las Vegas, Miami, and Saudi Arabia are paying over $50 million each in hosting fees. Every data point says the same thing. The value of being in Formula One keeps going up, which means even the team that finishes last is sitting on an increasingly valuable seat at the table. That's the profit equation behind Formula One. Teams spend hundreds of millions to finish last because the race itself is almost irrelevant to the business model. What matters is the sponsorship, the technology, the prize money, and the rapidly appreciating value of the team itself. Subscribe for more business breakdowns every Tuesday and Friday. Free weekly analysis at the link in the description.